Good morning, everybody. The new year is coming in, and it seems as if we, as a people, have not got any closer to learning how to agree to disagree without being belligerent to each other, without making threats, making or defaming each other. And this whole incident with Dr. Umar Johnson and with his certification and credentials with this board of Pennsylvania in education, whether he has a license, and it's not really whether he has a license because Dr. Umar has already said he doesn't have a license, and so for the people who keeps bringing that in, that's a non-argument. No one is arguing the fact that Dr. Umar Johnson does not have a license. So to keep bringing that up is ridiculous. You're pretty much arguing with yourself because nobody is arguing that. The argument seems to be, is Dr. Umar Johnson is Dr. Umar Johnson practicing or acting outside of his credentials, which is his certification to be a school psychologist. Now, a lot of people in there keep saying he doesn't have a license, and they think they know what the rule and law is for Pennsylvania. But the Professional Psychology Act and Psychologists Act and the Professional Psychology Modernization Act clearly states what he's allowed to do, what he can do, what he can't do. It also in there, it states that Dr. Umar is allowed as a school psychologist, whether he's licensed or certified. He can use the title psychologist. School psychologist is a type of psychologist. No, they don't have the same authorization like to prescribe to do certain things in certain fields, but one can act inside of a school setting, the other one is more like a private practice. But a school psychologist, as long as his credentials or certification is in good standing and he's tied to some employment of a school, charter, and so forth, can practice privately and can perform the same duties which he would perform in a public or private school, charter, so forth. So these are just the facts. And what my hope is that people going into the new year stop taking other people's word with what appears to be a messiah complex or very egotistic. You just cannot be wrong. Cannot be wrong. Now, every video or every comment that someone has given me, I have actually took the time to look it up, or I've watched the video in its entirety, because I know that I am not I am not from being wrong. It's not impossible that I might be wrong, or I might have misinterpreted the information. Maybe I misread the information, or there was something that I did not read or missed. Now, this is what people who are really dedicated to becoming a scholar or a scholar do. They continue to read the information and look for areas in which they can be corrected. And there's nothing wrong with being humble and saying, oh, well, I missed that, and now I'll make that correction. So the people who follow certain individuals on YouTube, whether it's Dr. Umar Johnson, whether it's Tariq, whether it's Sanetta, Jabari, Tazariak, Divine Prospect, Polite, Reggie, Shaka Amo, whoever you may be following, Garfield, whoever you may follow, whoever you may be, check the information. Stop getting mad at information because the information does not agree with you. Stop interpolating things that you can't interpret, or that the interpretation fails to fit your perspective. It's just information. Just find the information. If the information you don't agree with, prove the person wrong. Present the information prove the person wrong by presenting the information, and let the information be. They don't need to go through all this stuff. You're blocking people now because they're sharing information and it's not fitting what you want. I've had two sisters, Miss Biz and Miss Liv. I think that is Miss Miz Biz, and then Miss Ms Liv. Both of those women presented me with information that I had to go through. And Miss Liv, her presentation was an hour and 30 minutes long, and I went through every minute of that hour and 30. Miss Biz sent me documentations of the act for Pennsylvania, the Professional Psychologist Act, and I went through the documentation to the necessity of licensing. So from the beginning of the necessity of license, beginning of the page, which is section 1, to all the way to section 3, 10.1. I went through all of that, right? Because we had a difference of opinion or interpretation of what the law was, or what Dr. Umar was, and we shared information. Even on parts that we shared we didn't agree, we still shared information, and we tried to point each other in a way in which we felt the other one may be incorrect or not seeing our point. But bottom line is we came to a consensus of the same thing, and there were still some things we kind of didn't agree upon, but that's okay. Now, when we start talking about Dr. Umar Johnson and Tariq, I mean, I can see why a lot of people are turned off from the conscious community. I have nothing to say about Dr. Umar Johnson negatively. I don't have anything to say about Tariq Nasheed negatively in any type of way. I think these are both both of them are two smart, intelligent brothers. Both of them have their place in the conscious community. It's just a shame that we get to see the ugly part of the conscious community, because both of these brothers are, they're human, they're men, and when one feels as if the other one is attacking him or defaming him or whatever it may be, as men we tend to get more into our ego and in our feelings, and then we start to lash out and attack. Now, the problem with this is it's on the media. Everybody gets to see it. Everybody gets to see you come out of character, come outside yourself, or go to your lower self. Everybody gets to see this. It's not like you're at home and you're watching, and no one can see it, and you're talking on the phone. Me personally, I wish that if the brothers had beefs like this on about something that happened, whether it was job or video or some type of project they was working with, that they would call each other and try to work it out. I also wish that there was somebody in the community, in the conscious community, like an elder or elder board, or somebody that these two men knew, that they had mutual respect for, that could somehow intervene and get these two brothers together and figure something out and stop sharing this ugly side of the conscious community. Because I see a lot of division happening, and it's people who are now on comments and posts, and they're Team Umar, and there's Team Tariq, and then there's Team Boyce, and then there's and then it trickles down. Now it trickles down to this person's post on YouTube, and then this person's post on YouTube, and then it just it's just a trickle down effect, and it's really uncalled for, unnecessary, and we have to figure out a way to settle our disagreements, and we have to figure out a way how to critique someone that is helpful, and some way in which we can continue to hold somebody accountable, but at the same time build them back up and don't leave them in a humiliated state. But because the the character of a person, the the um, the character of a person, the name of a person means a lot, right? There's some things that you don't want damaged. You don't want your name damaged. You don't want your reputation damaged, and it's very important that you have the facts, you have the information, and you double check. And before you start putting stuff out there, you check the information and you make sure that it's correct and exact. If it's your opinion based on something, then there's ways to put that out there without making it seem as if you have some personal vendetta against somebody, or you're really just being spiteful and mean. So that's my take on this. Like I said, I saw the video on Dr. Umar with the response to Tariq, and I saw Tariq, and I was really kind of hurt because, like I said, I think Dr. Umar is a brilliant brother. I think he can be a great leader. He's very articulate. He has a vision which has not been around in a certain way for a long, long time, and he's getting problems because his thing is more Pan-African, Black nationalist. He's more of an Afrocentric, and people are afraid of that. You can still see these people of the integration mentality, even though to a degree it has not worked, and to a degree they haven't seen that other people have used the same type of philosophy or idea on other races that have been successful. And and Tariq, I think Tariq is a great brother. I think he's a great producer. I think he has a great vision for film. I think he should do more film. We should push both of these brothers out there. But if these two brothers are constantly, and I know Tariq said, he said that how much could I have to take? I keep my name out of his mouth. And then Dr. Umar said that, Tariq's name, my name is always in your mouth. And then they get to go and call these bitch niggas, fat niggas, all these terms and things just thrown around, very, very ugly. So I think it's up to the conscious community to the people who are watching them and following them to send out this message and tell them, hey, y'all got to get y'all shit together. We got to figure out how, if we can't help each other, at least don't hurt each other. And if we got to critique each other, then do it first with a phone call. I'm sure both of those brothers' phone numbers, maybe I can't get a hold of them. I'm not on their level, nowhere near it, and don't pretend to be. But but they have each other numbers, or people who know each other where they can get in contact with each other, and they can settle that. And it might take an elder. So hopefully, coming in 2018, I hope the elders step up their game a little bit and get more involved in these beefs. It seems like East Coast, West Coast beef, and it's really a shame because a lot of the information is going to get lost to people who need it because they are siding with one person, or they feel as if they need to only be with that one person as far as in their philosophy and their stands and their information. And information belongs to everybody because we're all one people and we all are in this together. So the only way we can unite is through unity and the sharing of information. So that's all I got to say, guys. Stay away from people who say they know it. You should believe them just because. Stay away from people who only show you Google stuff, unless it's like just YouTube stuff. But as far as information, if they're not quoting any authors, no historians, they're not quoting any books about that shows anthropology, first, second of we're talking about primary source, secondary source. If they're not showing you the stuff and they're telling you to believe me because I know, believe me because they got some comedic deity name and they think somehow that gives them some Superman gift of intelligence, Dr. Brain or something, stay away from those people. Get the information, look at it, interpret it for yourself. Don't be afraid to correct yourself, and then have them accountable for information that they're spread on internet, social media. And so that's what I got to say. I'm not trying to beef with anybody. Those are just my two thoughts. And once again, it's time for me to do my duty to my family. Happy New Year. Y'all stay safe. Take care of each other. Peace.